Say hello. This is an absolute honor. Hello, everybody. How you doing?
Hello. Very well, thank you.
You guys enjoying your stay in San Antonio so far?
Heck yeah.
Absolutely. Great city. Great city. Having a blast. Except for the guy running the parking lot. I don't like that guy. Hey, Frank, I don't like you. I don't like you, dude.
Now, guys, again, this is for the fans, so if you guys have any questions, I advise to go ahead and start lining up. We'll get to you in a bit. But of course, I just want to acknowledge this reunion is bittersweet. We don't have Robert with us. We understand he got injured. So again, Robert, our thoughts go out to you. We hope for a speedy recovery, and we wish you the best. But let's go ahead and get started, guys. So obviously, you guys are renowned in the franchise. Tell us some stories, like what are some favorite stories you have with Robert? Who would like to go first? Yes, ma'am.
So I was in, as you know, I got decapitated in 3. But I got a call from my agent saying they want you back for Nightmare 4. I was like, okay. Okay, I know I did that scene. Anyway, so as I was on the set with Robert, I think it was like the first week we were working together, and I said to him, I don't understand. I mean, you killed me. Well, how come I'm back? And he said, you know something broke? And I said, no, what? He said, shut up.
Miraculous recovery. She said that's why she always wears a scarf.
Any other stories anyone would like to share?
I think what's interesting is that, you know, I'm sure you've heard and read the process for the makeup for Freddy Krueger that Robert had to endure 4.5 hours of, you know, prosthetics, and then the actual painting of the prosthetic every day. And it's just so funny because you're like in the makeup trailer and he's getting these prosthetics put on and I'm getting red rinse put on my hair, and my hair blow dried with 2 blow dryers anyway every day. But you're just sitting there and, you know, there's Freddy Krueger, and, you know, we're talking about home decorating, grout colors, what happened in the news that day. And it was always so sort of surreal, you know. And it's Robert, you know, it's the dude.
I always say that Robert can talk the balls off a rhinoceros. He has the greatest stories in the world. So he'll talk until they like close his mouth and they put his makeup on. I got to do tons of special effects, so I got to hang out with him a lot. I don't really have a Robert story, but there's a scene where I guess it's 4 or 5, where I say, "Hey Alice, want to make babies?" And that was like on the street. I had all this makeup on, and they did a smoke gag, and you have to let the smoke clear. So I'd walk across the street to the other side of the neighborhood where they had no idea we were filming a movie, and I had this neck gash. And there were people walking their dogs, and they weren't sure. They're like, this old lady ran across the street. It's a movie. So that was pretty funny, kind of fun. No, it wasn't. It was a great Halloween costume, though. It was like, it was fun.
I will say, I went on set to hang out with Tuesday, and she was doing the beach scene. And we were filming down in San Pedro. And I went into the trailer, and I was just hanging out, talking to Robert. And they went on set, and he's a great guy. He's talking about all this different stuff. And we came back, and the entire trailer was surrounded by fans who had found out that they were filming there. And suddenly the trailer was just rocking back and forth. And I was like, wow, that's the closest to being rock star material right there. At the best time. And he's like, enjoy the ride. And I was like, this, and who knew, you know, especially at that age, I was only 19. I was like, what is this phenomenon? So, but Robert like really walked us through it, and it was an awesome experience.
Well, Robert had such a multi-layered makeup job to be done on his face. I think it was in about 5 layers that his prosthetics had to be applied, and once it was applied, which took a couple of hours, it also took the same amount of time to take it off. So when lunchtime came, Robert could not just get his makeup, quote unquote, off. He had to eat lunch with it on. So eating lunch across from Robert was quite a trip because he still had his Freddy face on. So we'd be having lunch and there'd be Freddy in his full makeup with his brains hanging out. And poor guy, he had such sensitive skin because he's blonde and pale skin and blue eyes that it was like so irritating for his skin. So he really did suffer for that. And he suffered quietly, but he did have to suffer, and his skin took quite a beating. But yeah, we would have lunch with Freddie, not Robert.
Yeah, I can raise my hand. In Nightmare 5, I had Freddy makeup for a day. And it was 11 hours, 53 minutes, and 11 seconds that I had to wear that makeup. And it is freaky. It is freaky. Like, you know, you go to look in the mirror and you're like, ah, you know, and the lip thing too, and eating, and you need a straw to eat, and oh my gosh, it was really something. And it makes your face, because it's prosthetic, so it makes your face bigger, you know. It's bizarre. Anyway, I couldn't wait to get it off.
And we miss him
Yes, of course.
because his energy is infectious and it's really intense.
Yeah, and I can guarantee you guys, he's missing you a lot more than you're missing him, because he loves being here with you guys. Traveling with him is incredible. You know, you just learn so much, because like Nanny said, his stories are incredible, and he tells them over and over. And you just, you know, so you guys, I hope you don't feel too bad, because I know he's home really missing you guys too, because he really loves being at these shows.
And he'll be here next year.
And he'll be here next
And he
year.
tells
so
them like
please.
this, you know.
Yeah.
Like this. No.
Hopefully we'll do the reunion again next year, and we'll all be here, which would be
Right.
great. But yeah, stories for Robert. When I was doing my scenes in the boiler room, we would block stuff, which means when, you know, I would know Robert was going to be here, and I'm here, and you do your blocking. And Robert just loved to come in a different way and scare the shit out of me all the time. You know, I'm expecting him over here, and he's like, so yeah, so it was really creepy actually being with Robert in that boiler room, because we did shoot in a real it was like a Pacific Gas and Electric thing that had shut down for years in LA, and it was creepy in there. I mean, that wasn't set dressing. That place was really like that. And steam and all that stuff coming out. But yeah, I miss him on this show too, guys, for sure.
And I understand that I recently learned that Robert has admitted that your death is one of his favorites, or the favorite death out of all the kills in the franchise.
I'm really excited about that. I think it's cool, because Robert has killed a hell of a lot of people. So to be his favorite kill is definitely an honor, and I've asked him about that, and he just says that, you know, for him to kill a handicapped person at that time, you know, who had a hearing problem like that, it was the ultimate kill for Freddy.
That's mean.
So
Really mean.
yeah, it's cool. It's really cool to be that.
Plus, he always likes to give the career advice. That's my Robert stories. He got me the job on Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, because he came to see a play I was in. I was in a play with Lynn Shay. You guys know Lynn Shay. She's been in a million horror movies, and her brother produced it, Robert Shay. So the two of them came to see it, and Lynn and I played dead people. She was an older dead woman, and I was a teenage dead girl, and we ran around scaring people. So he saw me after the show and said to Robert Shay, "Oh, Joe would be really good as one of the cheerleaders in the bus scene." So they asked me if I was doing that next week. And he still does it today. He'll sit down with you and say, "Well, you'd be really good, and you know, you should do this," and right?
I always think it's funny that my biggest acting achievement is dying. And and pretty much all of us have died. And I was like, people, "Oh man, you died so awesome. You're the best dyer ever." So I'm pretty proud of that.
And we're really grateful to you all for coming out, because we know it's hard-earned money, and we appreciate it very much that you invite us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys, man. Appreciate the support.
Come to my table.
Now,
Come to sale.
I have to ask, we're 30 years from when the movies originally came out. Did you guys know the impact your scenes and your characters are going to have, and the longevity they were going to have? Because here we are, 2017, people hold these movies to heart. They love them. Each of your deaths are iconic in film. And
Although Alice lives.
It's very true, very true. But
Just throwing it in.
You know, I will say something in regards to Sheila's death. Back in '88, when we were shooting this, she was the female version of Urkel. You know, she was a black nerd. And so it was so not accepted back then. It was only a very few people who were like, yeah, rock on nerd. But now, being at these conventions, people are approaching me and saying, I wrote an article about you and it's called Black Girl Nerd. Or, you know, you're a hip square. And suddenly now, being like that brainiac, smart woman has paid off. And I see it in these later generations where suddenly I'm like, oh God, now I'm a cool kid, you know, because before I never was. So that's one of the, truly you couldn't see any expectations to my character in particular, which was, you know, one of the first to die and a smaller character who I absolutely adored her. But to have that resurgence come now and have her be considered really part of the cool kids, I'm like, oh wow, that's really cool. So that's a 30-year growing up experience with Sheila has been an awesome one.
It's funny because I got really lucky and I'm grateful that I got to be in two really iconic franchises. One being Back to the Future and of course the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. And he was talking about lines that you have. And, you know, in Back to the Future, my best line is, hey, you Bojo, those boards don't work on water. And then I got really lucky with this one because I got the map says you're fucked. and it's hilarious. That's why I tell you guys, use your GPS because the map does say you're fucked. Just be careful.
I did Nightmare 3 just that I'd gotten off of General Hospital. So I had absolutely no idea about Nightmare, none whatsoever. I'm on the set doing the movie, and I guess it was about the third week. We were shooting in downtown LA in a studio, and there was all this kind of commotion over to the side of the stage, and people throwing their arms around and arguing and everything. I didn't wonder what's going on. So I found out what was going on was someone had snuck into the studio, which is a felony, right? In the middle of the night, broke the glass, stuck in the studio, and stole the sweater. And I thought to myself, someone's risking jail time to steal a sweater? I must be into something big. So it was just, logical conclusion, but it was really amazing. And I don't think Robert even knew that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I never heard that story. That's wild. I think what's just so cool is the generations. Because now, 30 years, more is, there's like 3 generations that have, embraced Nightmare on Elm Street. So there's grandma and there's mom and then the kids and grandchildren and 4 I mean, I don't think we have any idea that it would have that prolific effect. And it's like once in the family, stays in the family and grows with the family. So it's pretty awesome. I mean, it's great. And I think too, just talking about my character Alice, it's always so great to hear the stories from everybody where everyone has gone through sometime in their life when they wanted to daydream, didn't want to accept reality because reality sucked. And that hard time in your life, it could be in grade school or junior high or high school or even later on, and that the Alice character was just written so beautifully, and her ability to fight back, and as we do in our life when we wake up and say no more daydreams. So that's what I have to say.
Yeah, that's cool. And then, you go, Bubba.
Yeah, I just want to look at myself on this big screen. That is awesome. That is awesome. No, I'm a fan too, man. I'm starstruck about the Warriors. It's like if you're a fan of something, you take that little movie and that's like your hour and a half to just enjoy that and live in that world, and that takes you away from everything. And obviously that's what everybody does with Nightmare. So when it comes back to me and I see fans that really enjoy it, I can totally relate because I'm pretty starstruck, man. The Warriors was my jam when I was a kid. I was like, I watched it, so I love it. It reciprocates back, and so thank you guys. Yeah.